In case you needed more evidence, the left really does think of the government as a religion. Now they want to punish Zynners. Take a listen.
Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is calling for federal action to crack down on a product called Zyn. He says the nicotine pouches pose a danger to teens as they use them as an alternative to e-cigarettes.
Pouch packed with problems, high levels of nicotine. So today I'm delivering a warning to parents because these nicotine pouches seem to lock their sights on young kids, teenagers, and even lower, and then use the social media to hook them.
Senator Schumer is urging the FTC and the FDA to investigate Zyn for concerns relating to marketing and health effects. We reached out to Zyn for comment, but have not yet heard back.
Zyn, of course, brings joy to millions. Chuck Schumer would like to banish it, that audio from CBS 2. Joining us now, an expert on Zyn, Greg Price is here. He's a communications director for the State Freedom Caucus Network and a Cool Mint Zyn Enthusiast. Greg, good to have you with us, sir.
Vince, it is great to be with you today to talk about this very important topic.
Yeah, what is the deal here? Why is Chuck Schumer coming after the last thing that brings you pleasure?
Chuck Schumer is playing with forces that he simply does not understand here. One does not simply take on the entire country of Zimbabwe, Vince, and live to tell the tale. If he is trying to incite a Zynsurrection, which will make January 6th look like a child's tea party, and the founding fathers understood this. They knew this would happen. George Washington famously said, if freedom of Zyn is taken away, then dumb and silent we may be led like sheep to the slaughter. They saw this coming. And there's a really good reason they're doing it, in all seriousness. These are the same people who want to make drugs legal. They're fine with fentanyl flowing over the border every single day. And yet they have a problem with nicotine. They constantly are, coming after nicotine. They did this with Juuls a couple years ago. And now they're doing it with Zyn, which doesn't even have the, all the chemicals in vape and cigarettes that's actually bad for you. And, people use Zyn to actually quit smoking and things like that. But there's a reason they're doing it. And the reason is because they're fine with drugs being legal because drugs make you compliant and they make you weak. And the left seeks to create a weak and compliant populace, whereas nicotine is shown to boost cognitive ability and boost testosterone. And they fear a world where men have boosted testosterone and are free to think about all of the great things in life and society.
Yes.
They fear this. They fear men with nicotine, protein, caffeine, and creatine coursing through their veins.
Well, those men ask questions, and that's a very dangerous thing in a society where you're trying to control everyone. So to your point, it's interesting that they constantly push the drugs that deaden you inside, but they try and banish the drugs that enliven you.
Yeah, no, again, when was the last time that Chuck Schumer did a press conference like this to talk about the fentanyl crisis in America? How many, I'm sure he believes in legalizing weed and, the left wants to legalize all these other drugs too. They say that doing it will actually decrease the amount of time people are doing drugs, and yet they constantly want the federal government to crack down on nicotine, which has been shown, again, to boost testosterone and boost cognitive ability. And like you said, it's a question to be asked, and it's because they fear. As I said, they fear this. They fear people with nicotine coursing through their veins asking all of the questions about our society they don't want to ask. As Patrick Henry once said, give me lit pillows or give me death. All of the great philosophers and prophets throughout history have chosen Zyn as their product to think about the world. And they want to take this away from us.
That sounds so correct. I'm not even going to submit it to Facebook for a fact check. That sounds totally right to me. Here's the question that was asked today at the White House on this subject, and you'll notice Corinne sounds open to banning Zyn.
This week, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer called for a crackdown on Zyn nicotine pouches, saying that companies seem to set their sights on young kids, teenagers, and even lower, and use social media to hook them. Does the administration believe there should be a crackdown on Zyn?
That's something for FDA to speak to. I can't speak to that from here. I've not seen that report, so I would refer you to the FDA specifically.
In other words, the White House is very open to it. The FDA works for Biden. Whatever they decide. In your view, Greg Price, would Zyn make Karine Jean-Pierre a better press secretary?
I don't know if anything can make Karine Jean-Pierre a better press secretary, but I'll say this. If Joe Biden packed a couple of deputies on a daily basis, maybe he would know where to go when his speeches end. Because you pop in a Zyn, the creative juices started flowing,
Sure.
and maybe his words would actually make sense by then. So I think if they really want Joe Biden to win the election, they need to get that guy
Yes.
fixes on a daily basis.
Now, as I understand it, just in terms of the practical benefits of Zyn, you laid out all of the cognitive benefits and the benefits to testosterone and masculinity, all great things. But the effect is, for some people who previously have smoked, they do derive the benefits of this as a smoking cessation technique, don't they?
Well, yeah, I mean, it works the same way that like nicotine patches and nicotine gum do. There's only two ingredients in Zyn. It's nicotine salts, and then it's the stuff that gives it its flavor, whether it's Cool Mint or Spearmint or cinnamon or smooth or whatever. And yeah, people use this to actually quit smoking. Like, the thing about cigarettes is the nicotine is what makes it addictive, but the stuff that's actually bad for you is all of the chemicals that are found in cigarettes and all of the chemicals found in water. It's not the actual nicotine itself.
Right.
And so, yeah, people use this stuff to actually quit cigarettes, which are a lot worse for you than Zyn is. They want the federal government to, they're trying to say, we're going to take this away from you. Go back to your Marlboro.
Yes.
That.
Yeah. And it's also just, once again, is kind of an expression of, boy, don't they have other things that are much more worth their time than banishing whatever little enjoyment Americans have left? I mean, there are a million things that are collapsing, many of them really at the direction of the Democrats. Why are they coming after just, your momentary escape from all of that?
Because, as I said, the left hates this. They hate material things that bring you joy, as you said, and they seek to create a world where everybody is just about as miserable as they are. To go back to our earlier point, they are pushing the government to crack down on nicotine while pushing hard drugs. They want people high, sitting on their couch, waiting for their, Uber Eats of 40 chicken McNuggets to come. They don't want you packing a couple upper deckies on it. They don't want you packing a Cool Mint 6, thinking about the world and understanding that the worldview that they're pushing on you is evil.
I barely understand what you're talking about, but it sounds so cool. It sounds so very cool. The one other piece here, this is not the first time that these Democrats with Joe Biden in office have flirted with trying to banish enjoyment from the masses. They also attempted to do this to black voters in the form of banning menthol cigarettes. They had announced early in the administration that they were going to take menthol cigarettes away from black Americans, but they have decided to delay that until after 2024. What happens in 2024 that makes this timeline so critical?
Well, Joe Biden needs the black vote in order to, it's self-explanatory, but it doesn't even stop at menthol cigarettes. Like they're using the government to not just when it comes to nicotine. They've cracked down on gas stoves. They've cracked down on light bulbs, on washing machines. Obviously, they're trying to make everybody drive an electric car. Air conditioning units. All of these things that bring people, convenience and material comfort. The Biden administration has come after, and for all the things I mentioned, they say it's because of climate change, but really, I just think the left are miserable people who want everyone to be as miserable as they are, and that's why they do this on a daily basis.
Yeah, evangelists for misery, and again, now they're targeting you for your Zyns. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time, Greg Price. Really, always good to talk to you, especially on subjects on which you're an expert. That would include Zyn. Thank you very much, Greg.
Thank you, Vince. Great to be with you.
Good to talk to you.